I've been getting an influx of questions since I covered that horrific Santa Ana plane crash over the weekend that killed 5 people. First and foremost, want to honor their memory and honor those victims, of course. But secondly, we want to learn from this. So I wanted to give some insight from the perspective of a licensed pilot and tell you what I know based on my training the past several years. First of all, a lot of people have the misconception that when a plane loses an engine or loses power, it's going to go nose first into the ground. That's not how aerodynamics works. What happens when a plane loses an engine or power, and I've done it in my training where my instructor pulled the power, is the plane is going to glide. That's what airplanes and aircraft are meant to do. However, what the pilot does next is critical. So if they freak out and respond in a bad way, or they don't reach the optimal glide speed for that aircraft, that can be disastrous. We don't know what happened in this case, but say an engine was lost. The plane still would have flown and glided in, or even if they lost fuel or had no fuel. However, if a pilot slows down too much below that optimal glide speed, if they get into a stall and it's uncoordinated, the plane will go straight down into a spin. And that's what it looked like happened based on the video we saw. It's one thing the NTSB will consider. Another thing to consider with the Cessna 414, which is a twin engine aircraft. Say one engine was lost, all of the force goes to the other engine, and that is called asymmetric thrust. When that happens, if a pilot does not correct for it almost immediately, that can be a disastrous situation. The third thing that the NTSB will look at was fuel. This plane had left from Concord in Northern California with 5 people on board, meaning they probably didn't fill the tank up fully because of weight and balance concerns. So by the time it got all the way down here, a couple-hour journey, they were probably low on fuel. Were they out? If that was the case, which is a possibility because investigators say if a plane crashes, you should have a fiery explosion if there's fuel, which just didn't happen here. So if that was the case, the plane still would have glided, but what the pilot did next would have been critical. So these are just all things that the NTSB is considering and looking at, and I wanted to take care of any misconceptions or sensationalism that you often see in the media with these types of incidents.